Hello, this is Matt Schedules, and I am here to talk to you a little bit about the 14-point assessment that we can do on our schedule. This is very generalized, and I'm sorry if you hear a lot of noise in the background, but I'm in a very noisy place. But I think this is a very, very important subject. So it's a quick video, so I'll go over some of them, or at least mention them, and how important they are. So one of the first checks that you should do on your schedule is to have logic. Logic means that you have network dependencies or links. That means you link one task to other tasks to make sure that you get a flow that is correct for your schedule so you get a good product delivery date. Here you see in my line 21, I have product delivery, and it's saying that it's a few months after I start, almost a year, because I made sure to put the tasks or logics in here properly. You can see it in the Gantt chart with these arrows, and you see this task goes directly down to this blue one. So you can see it is a very detailed task linkage in the schedule, like it should be. And then the next thing is to find if there are any leads. Leads, you should never have leads in your schedule because leads mean that there is negative time in your schedule. In reality, there is no such thing as negative time. You can't say that you're going to do a task 2 weeks ago or last week or yesterday. So in the future, if you have tasks in the future have negative lag, it's probably saying that it's going to start in a task that's going to end 2 days later. You're going to start that task 2 days before that ends once it ends, so it doesn't make sense. When I say it that way, it's very confusing, but when I say that there's no negative time, like time now, right this second, you cannot start a task yesterday. You cannot say to your project manager, you know what, I'm doing so well, I have leads in my schedule, and I'm going to start the task 2 weeks ago. You can't do that. So that's basically what you're saying. So the next thing that is in a task that you have to check for in 14-point assessment are lags. Lags also are not very good in the schedule, but it's allowed to have up to 5% of lags. This also makes the schedule a little less flexible, so make sure not to have any lags. Then relationship types. There are 4 types of relationship types. There's finish to start, finish to finish, start to start, and start to finish. The last one that I mentioned, start to finish, you should probably never use that because doesn't make sense either. It's not very logical. So make sure to use most of your schedule. I would say at least 80%, but maybe 90 to 95% of finish to start relationships. When you have the 1,000 to 2,000 lines or more, it's harder to have finish to start relationships on 95% of your schedule. You probably are going to be around the 80 to 85 percentile. More than that is not very good for your schedule. You have to aim to have a very, very high level or a high amount of finish to start relationships in your schedule. Then hard constraints, you need to check for hard constraints. Usually the DCMA, which is the Department of Contracting Management Association or something, that I don't remember exactly what the name is. You can look it up online and it'll give you the right name. So anyway, that they came up with this 14-point assessment and they recommend 5% or less of hard constraints. I would say, you know what, never use them. But if you have to, make sure you documented why, tell your customer, and your customer has to accept that you have written out why you're using hard constraints. And then you can do the 5% thing once your customer and you and your company have agreed to that. And then we go on to high float. High float means that you have too many days or too much time between one task and another because probably something happened with your links that you put in there. So when you do that, it gives a false sense of safety or that you are actually going to deliver the product on time. So you look for that. And there is a percentage of it, usually 5% of your task can have high float. One of the rules a lot of the contractors use is that it's 44 working days. I would say that it shouldn't be more than 20 working days because you want your task to finish within the same month or a month period. Because when you do contracts like that, especially for government, that they want to see that the budget has been used within 1 month. They don't like to see that the budget has gone over into the next month in a task. So make sure to look at that and think about how you use high float. Negative float, I would say it is not recommended at all, so don't have any negative float. And then there's high duration. High duration is the same, that you have more than 44 days. Here in my schedule, you'll see that I have some that are like 62 days as duration, and you have other ones like that. But this is a high level schedule, and sometimes when you're before a pre-contract, you may have phases that are very long, but you will tell the customer that once a contract is signed, you will detail out the schedule, and it will have less duration than the 44-day working days. And you have high duration in your schedule, it should be less than 5% of your scheduled tasks, not to include summary tasks. And then it checks for invalid dates. Invalid dates may be dates that don't make sense in the schedule, such as dates that are in the past that you have not completed when you're statusing your schedule. Say that I am saying that I have done everything today, and in my schedule it shows that something is due last week or a month ago. That is not valid. That makes you have a false schedule, a schedule that you will not reach the product delivery date, probably. Or you're going to spend so much money to get there. Another type of invalid date is dates that are in the future that don't make sense. But go ahead and go online and research how that works and how that looks. And also it looks into resources, but I don't like to resource load my schedule, so we will skip that one. You can look it up online. There's a lot of information on that, I think. And then missed tasks. Missed tasks are tasks that are due in the past that you're saying you completed everything till now or till the date that is your status date. So if it's your status date and the tasks are due before that, then those are missed tasks. Then there's the critical path test, and so it also talks about the critical path length index. The CPLI, it is not very well done manually. In project doesn't, you can't really look into that, or baseline execution index, that's BEI. So it says it's 14-point inspection, but actually a scheduler without a tool probably can do 12 out of 14 or maybe 10 out of 14, which is a good check. At least the first 5 are very, very important, and then you can go ahead and make your other checks as long as you understand how to use them and you make sure that those 5 points are well taken care of in your schedule, or else you can get very confused. Anyway, I went that a little fast. Maybe in the future I'll go one by one and then we can talk about it. Anyway, this is Mad Schedules, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.